name is Olivia Buncher, and I am the Director of Admissions for the Doctor of Pharmacy program at the University of Minnesota. We operate one admissions process for both of our campuses, Duluth and the Twin Cities, so I oversee admissions for both of our campuses. Our College of Pharmacy was founded in 1892 and is actually the only pharmacy school in the state of Minnesota. Our program started on the Minneapolis campus, and then in 2003, the Duluth campus opened to help expand pharmacy education opportunities in the state because there was a significant pharmacist shortage in Minnesota. Our college operates as one college on two campuses, so we have college leadership, faculty, staff, and students located on both campuses. And the delivery of our Pharm.D program uses technology so that students on both campuses are in class together, connected and learning simultaneously from faculty in both locations. We have a 4-year Pharm.D program where students take 3 years of didactic or classroom education, which is integrated with our introductory pharmacy practice experiences. And then the entire 4th year is comprised of advanced pharmacy practice experiences, or otherwise called rotations. Our curriculum was redesigned several years ago, so it really emphasizes team-based and active learning strategies, and the content is integrated in a way that really helps with student learning and retention of the knowledge. This past year, we launched our redesigned IPPEs, our introductory practice rotations, which now start in the first semester of the program. So during the first 2 years of the program, students have a 1-week IPPE in each semester, so that's 4 semesters. And then in year 3, students have a longitudinal integrated IPPE over the course of the entire academic year. This allows students to begin applying what they learn in class almost immediately after starting the program. And then again, the entire 4th year is comprised of rotations, and those start very soon after the end of classroom work in the 3rd year. So our Duluth campus has a smaller class size with about 30 to 40 students in the most recent incoming classes, while the Twin Cities campus usually hovers around about 100 students per year. Every year, about 70% of our students are Minnesota residents, but we don't have any quotas or any limits on seats for out-of-state students or residents. We do accept international students, and they make up about 5% of our student population. So we offer a few different emphasis areas in research and leadership, and we also have a focus area in mental health pharmacy. The emphasis areas are a slightly more robust type of specialization, while a focus area has a little bit less in terms of requirements. For the research emphasis area, that's something that students can get started on right away in their 1st year, while the leadership emphasis area is declared after being introduced during one of the core leadership courses in the curriculum. The mental health focus is something that students apply to during their 2nd year with specific elective requirements for both courses that students take in the 3rd year, as well as rotations that they complete in the 4th year. All of these specialization opportunities are something that students will learn about during information sessions that are held in the 1st semester of the program. So we offer 3 dual degree programs with our curriculum. So there's a Master of Business Administration, or MBA, Master of Public Health, or MPH, and our newest dual degree is a Master's in Health Informatics, or MHI program. We actually have 2 options for the MBA dual degree. Students can either do the MBA through the business school on the Duluth campus or on the Twin Cities campus, since those are separate programs. So the Twin Cities MBA dual degree is available to students on either of our campuses, and it does take 5 years total to complete, while the Duluth MBA is available only to students studying on the Duluth campus, but that can be done in the same 4 years that the Pharm.D normally takes. The MPH and the MHI are both open to students on either of our campuses, and if a student knows that they're interested early enough in the program, those can also be completed within the same 4 years that it would typically take to finish the Pharm.D degree. So this is something that we feel really strongly about, and we begin integrating new students actually as soon as they're offered admission to the program. So during the admissions cycle, students who have already been admitted are invited to attend certain student organization events and college seminars in the year leading up to their enrollment. And we also connect every admitted student with a current student who can answer their questions and help them learn more about the community. In the summer before students enroll, every incoming student is invited to meet individually with an advisor so that they can learn more about student support services and resources that are available to them. And then there are several more sessions during the first course that our students take called Becoming a Pharmacist. That serves as sort of an introduction to the program and sort of an orientation. So there's a lot of information about resources and support that's shared during that course. And then throughout the program, one program that we have is called MINPAC, which is Minnesota Promoting a Connected Community. So every student in the program is a part of a MINPAC group, which is a small group or PAC that has a couple students from each year of the program, and then a faculty member and a practitioner. And these groups, the faculty member and the practitioner serve as co-leads for their group, and they provide support to students through regular meetings at least twice per semester, and then individual connections with students as well. Another area that students can get support is through our affinity groups. These are groups that are based on shared identities that consist of students, faculty, staff, and alumni. So these are some of the major ways that we promote community, but there are also a lot of informal things as well. So one fun example is on the Duluth campus, there is an annual talent show where faculty, students, staff come together and perform their talents. Usually it's in Weber Music Hall on the Duluth campus. So that's just kind of a fun, informal way that community is built through events like that, but then also through those more formal programs like the affinity groups and the MINPAC program. So all of our applicants who meet the priority deadline are automatically considered for admissions scholarships. We don't have any separate application or any additional steps that students need to take to be considered for those. We have a limited number of non-resident tuition scholarships, and those cover the difference between in and out of state tuition. And then we also offer several scholarships that can provide anywhere from $2,500 per year to $10,000 per year. We also have one-time scholarship awards that range anywhere from $1,000 to $10,000. And then current students are able to apply each year for more of those one-time scholarships. The ones available to P2s through P4s are generally in the range of $1,000 to $3,000 one-time awards. So again, automatically students are considered for those as long as they meet the priority deadline for admissions scholarships, and there's nothing extra that they need to do to be considered for those. So I mentioned earlier that we do have a research emphasis area for students who really want to go above and beyond the amount of research that's required in the core curriculum. But every student will take a class in the curriculum that is designed to help them really improve their evidence-based practice skills. So it's a class where students use research skills to both do their own project, but also to learn how to evaluate the research that has been done by others so that they can apply that in their practice. So that class has them do patient care scenarios and group projects and things where they kind of learn how does research actually impact decision-making as a practicing pharmacist. So that's a part of our curriculum that every student will be required to take. But students who are wanting to do additional research, there are a lot of opportunities to work on projects with faculty. And one really cool thing that our students do, so ROCI is a student organization that's focused on research, and every year they hold an annual research symposium. So that's an opportunity where students, faculty, graduate students, residents, everybody can come together. There's a poster session, there are different speakers. So that's a really great opportunity for students to showcase the types of research that they've been involved in while they're in the program. So during the first 2 years of the program, students complete IPPEs in either in both community and institutional pharmacy settings. So those are 1 week experiences that fall mid-semester, and they take place throughout the state of Minnesota with a handful of sites in neighboring states as well. And then in the third year, students complete a longitudinal IPPE that spans across both semesters. And in the fourth year, students complete a full 12 months of rotations Some are required in specific areas, like everybody has to do acute care, ambulatory care, community, but then students also have the opportunity to choose electives in a wide variety of areas. So there's some more traditional areas, but then there are also some unique settings like working with governmental agencies or pharmacy associations, specialty practice sites, that sort of thing. So those again are located mostly throughout the state of Minnesota and in neighboring states, but there are a handful of international rotation opportunities as well. Our program has an Office of Experiential Education, and they secure placements for all students. So students basically, they do a process where they rank their preferences for both the location and the type of site for their rotations. And then that goes into a system or has an algorithm. It basically tries to optimize making sure that people get as close to possible as their preferences for both locations and the site type. One of the things that's really nice is that we're the only pharmacy program in the state of Minnesota, so we're not competing with any other schools. We have the whole state basically at our fingertips for all of the different possibilities for our students to complete their rotations, and we don't have a bunch of programs kind of arguing over how many spaces they can have for their students. Our students usually are in a 1-to-1 preceptor relationship or sometimes a 2-to-1. Which is also a really big difference than you might find in other states that have several pharmacy schools where maybe it's 4 or 5 students to 1 preceptor. So overall, our students have a lot of really great opportunities for their rotations, and our Office of Experiential Ed works with them on their placements, so students aren't kind of left to their own devices and left to figure it out on their own. But their preferences are also taken into account in that lottery or selection process that the office uses. So we have absolutely incredibly involved student body. It's one of the things when I started working here that I was just really amazed by the number of students that are involved in organizations. There's over 20 pharmacy or interprofessional student organizations, and most of our students are involved in at least 2 of those organizations. All those student orgs have different areas of focus. So some of them are focused more on professional development and networking. Others are focused more on community outreach and community service. There are several organizations that are focused on wellness and balance. And some of them are just purely social organizations. They're a chance for students to get together and have fun and think about something other than pharmacy. One of the really cool things that our students are involved in is we have student-run free clinics in each campus location. So on the Twin Cities campus, we have the Phillips Neighborhood Clinic, and in Duluth, we have the Hope Clinic. So these are, again, they're student-run, they're interprofessional clinics. So they're run with students from the med school, from other health professions. And these provide care to those in the community who are underinsured or uninsured. So it's a really great way for students to develop their professional skills and also give back to the community at the same time. All of our student organizations have elected leadership roles, so that gives students the opportunity to build their CV, develop their leadership skills, and get more involved. One unique thing that sometimes factors into the students' preference for which campus they would like to attend is on sort of a per capita basis. There are more opportunities for leadership positions on the Duluth campus because we have every student org is on both campuses and they have the same number of leadership positions. So since there are fewer students in Duluth, you're more likely to be able to get an elected leadership position on the Duluth campus. So if that's something that a student is really interested in, that's something that they could keep in mind as they're deciding on their campus selection. So we are really pleased with the success of our graduates. Even in recent years, as we have seen that things in the profession have shifted a little bit, things have tightened up in certain areas of the job market, but we're really pleased that our class of 2020 had a 97.5 placement rate within 6 months of graduation. And that's with a high percentage of our students going on to residency. Residency's always been a really popular option for our students. And the class of 2020 had a 79% match rate, which is well above the national average. I think it's important to also note that not only is that percentage above the national average, but we actually had the second highest number of students pursuing residency nationally as well. So we're not just getting a really good match rate with only a handful of students applying, we're getting a really strong match rate with tons of students going on to apply for that option. of course, we're obviously very proud of our number 3 ranking, but a lot of students will ask what exactly that ranking is supposed to mean to them. So for those who aren't aware, the rankings are based on a reputational survey of pharmacy school deans and leaders. So basically, the high ranking represents that we are a really well regarded and respected program. So for students, the reason that's meaningful is that translates to really great opportunities for our students. We regularly hear when we survey employers that Minnesota grads really stand out and they enter the workforce ready to work at a really high level. And we also strongly emphasize leadership in our curriculum, with all students completing core coursework that helps them develop their leadership skills. So that's not just for positional leadership positions, but also to ensure that our students are equipped to positively influence change no matter what their title is. And that's another thing that we hear from employers is a really positive trait that they notice in our students, and they see that difference in our graduates. Another unique feature is our 2-campus model. You might hear of programs that have a satellite or a branch campus, but we operate really differently than that. So our program truly operates as one college, with all of our courses and our student organizations, our committees. All of our operations are happening jointly using technology to connect. So that's a really cool opportunity. Students can basically choose the type of community that they want to live in and the type of campus setting that they want to have, but they're still getting the same education. It's still the same degree. It's the University of Minnesota on the diploma. It's classes together with faculty from both of our campuses, but students have that opportunity to choose the type of setting that they're located in. So again, I think that when students see our number 3 ranking, they shouldn't just think that's just some number that went into some sort of formula. That's really based on our reputation, and our students benefit from that reputation, especially when they're graduating and going out onto the job search. So we are a PharmCast school. That means that applicants must complete the PharmCast application, and then we have our supplemental application embedded into the PharmCast application in the section that's referred to as program materials. So some schools might have a separate supplemental application, but ours is embedded right within PharmCast. We have a pretty standard list of prerequisites. So you're going to take some biology courses, some chemistry courses, and then we also require communication and advanced writing class and a couple of social science classes. One thing I'll note about the prerequisite courses is that those ones that are not math or science prerequisites, those can be fulfilled with a U.S. bachelor's degree. So if you're going to have a bachelor's degree by the time you start the program from a U.S. institution, you don't specifically need to take that communication, advanced writing, or those social science courses. Our admissions interview is a behavioral style interview. So our applicants meet one-on-one with 2 separate interviewers, and they talk about how they've handled different situations and scenarios. We use a rolling admissions process, so we do encourage applicants to apply early in the application cycle. One is to meet the priority deadline for scholarship consideration, but also to be sure that there's still plenty of space available in the program, because as we get close to the application deadline, seats could fill on one of the 2 campuses, so we encourage folks to apply early. There are no differences in the application process for out-of-state applicants, but there are a couple of additional requirements for international applicants. So one is that we require the TOEFL exam or a waiver of the TOEFL for applicants whose native language is not English. So the way that this works is on the PharmCast application, it will ask you to list your native language. If it's not English, then we would either require the TOEFL, or there's a process where applicants can request a waiver. So the waivers are pretty common if an applicant, for example, has completed their undergraduate coursework in the United States, but they do have to make sure that they look at that requirement and request the waiver when they submit their application. Then for applicants who have international coursework, we do require a course-by-course foreign transcript evaluation from WES, World Education Services, and that is something that you organize it through the PharmCast application. So when you add your foreign institution in PharmCast, it will give you a button where you can click Request a WES evaluation, and it will give you the proper form that you have to use to get that evaluation completed, and then that gets sent directly to PharmCast and becomes part of your PharmCast application. We are just in the process of finalizing our exact deadlines for the fall 2022 admissions cycle, but it usually follows the same pattern. So the application typically opens in mid-July. I believe it's scheduled to open July 14th this year. And then we'll have a deadline mid-fall semester for priority consideration for scholarships. And then there's a final application deadline, which typically for us is February 1st. We usually then also, after the February 1st deadline to submit the PharmCast application, give applicants about a month for any remaining application materials to come in. So things like your letters of recommendation, those have a little bit of extra time after submitting. Again, we haven't finalized exactly what those dates will be, but we do plan to have those listed on our website, probably by the end of March. So in the past, PharmCast has had a formal early decision application process that schools could opt into. That program is ending with the current admissions cycle, so that won't be available moving forward. But different schools will probably create their own priority deadlines for different types of incentives. So for our program, we expect to have a priority deadline in mid-fall, and that would be one of the ways to get priority consideration for scholarships. But other than that, we do have a rolling admissions process. So we kind of, as applications are being received, we're reviewing them, we're interviewing, usually about one interview day per month, and then we're sending decisions after those interview days take place. So our cycle usually runs from about October through April. Once all of an applicant's materials are received, the next step is for us to review that application for an interview invitation. Usually that's a really quick process. So within 1 week of the application being complete, an applicant can usually expect to hear from us with whether or not they've been selected for an interview. And then they'll be asked for their availability for our upcoming interview days. We usually hold about one interview day per month. From October and until April. So an applicant, usually they'll get that invitation, they'll let us know their availability for the upcoming interview day. So usually it'll be a couple of weeks until they have their interview. And then after interviewing, applicants can expect to receive their admission decision within 3 weeks of their interview day. Of course, our website is a really great resource for students to learn more about the program. So our website is pharm.d.umn.edu. There's a lot of information there about the program as well as the application process. And then another thing I recommend is for students to sign up for our email list. We promise that we don't spam people too much, but we do send a monthly newsletter. And in that newsletter, we provide advice on how to prepare a strong application, as well as information on upcoming admissions events and reminders of important deadlines. So we do recommend getting signed up for that email list so that you're receiving those important updates from our office. The best way to reach our office is by emailing us at pharmacy@umn.edu. So this email address is monitored by our admissions counselors, Cassie and Caitlin, and they can help get you pointed in the right direction, answer your questions, let you know what sort of upcoming events and activities are taking place, or even set up a meeting with you. We also hold twice weekly online chats. So our admissions counselors, Cassie and Caitlin, are available for quick questions. If you just want to hop online and need an answer while you're working on your application, or if you have a quick question. And then we have other admissions events that provide more robust information. So we have preview day events every semester, and we're also holding some really great events. We're kind of putting them under the umbrella of a virtual pre-pharmacy club. So we hold sessions that are similar to what a pre-pharmacy club would host on their campuses, but we make that available to anybody, especially somebody who might be a non-traditional student or a career changer, or maybe at a smaller school that doesn't have a pre-pharmacy club. So we offer those as a monthly opportunity for students to learn more. We also have a few different forms on our website so students can make requests, like if they want to set up an individual meeting with us to talk about their application, or if they'd like to be put in touch with a faculty member or a current student based on their interests. We have a quick request form that you can fill out on our website, and then we'll take the information that you provide to us and we'll get you in touch with someone who comes from the area that you're interested in learning more about. So So I hope this information was helpful for you to learn more about our College of Pharmacy. We believe that we have an outstanding Pharm.D program with a lot of really wonderful opportunities for students that are entering this profession. So I mentioned earlier some of the resources and ways that people can learn more and get in touch with our office and get in touch with faculty and students in our program. So please don't hesitate to reach out. We are more than happy to help anyone who would like to learn more about our program.